Hi guys, my name is Anna Newell. I am a double major in psychology and criminology/criminal justice at the University of Maryland, and I'm a sophomore. And this semester I interned at the DC VA Medical Center. So, the VA provides a lot of different services for veterans related to healthcare. There are similar hospitals throughout the country that are run by the Veterans Health Administration, which is a component of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. So, I always knew kind of what these hospitals were and vaguely what services they provided, but from my experience there, just from walking through the hospital, I noticed a lot of different services, including dental care, PT care, just general checkups, you know, optometry, just a lot of different services. And the goal of this organization is just to provide adequate health care of all kinds for veterans and to make that as accessible as possible. So, one area where I noticed kind of the accessibility aspect was I took the metro to DC and then took a shuttle from the metro station to the hospital for my internship. And, I'm riding this shuttle with other employees, with clients, and patients. And so I realized, that's in place to make sure that all veterans can access this healthcare, and we know that there's a lot of barriers to veterans receiving healthcare because they are a vulnerable population. There is a large prevalence of homelessness, of financial burdens, of mental health concerns that impede on their ability to, have the time, money, resources to access healthcare. So you can really see the efforts to make this healthcare accessible to them. So I wanted to work with this organization because I really believe that everyone deserves adequate mental health services, and especially vulnerable populations like veterans who may struggle to receive this type of mental health care. I found out about this internship through the UMD psychology blog. It was a posting that just said if you're interested in working as a research assistant at the VA, send a resume and cover letter to Bailey Crone, and she ended up becoming my supervisor. So my internship was in mental health services. More specifically, I was a research in a lab focused on PTSD treatment. So the main goals in this lab were to first examine existing research and summarize this in a literature review. So that was kind of my big task throughout this internship, and that's what I've been working on remotely primarily, is extracting data, summarizing key findings in order to kind of develop this background knowledge, this foundation, as we then examine our own practices at the VA. So kind of getting into the second goal, we were conducting analyses of the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of the services that this hospital provides. So, Dr. Carlin, the head researcher and psychologist in this lab, really emphasized how, there's no ulterior motives to make it look like their services are really effective. They really and truly just want to examine empirically, is it working? What do dropout rates look like? What does the existing research say about what we're doing? What are other potential options for treatment? And finally, this ties into the third main goal, applying this research in order to develop more effective practices and provide the best care possible to their clients. So I touched on this briefly, but my work included completing an ethics training prior to beginning my role, and also just a general training that all people working at the VA have to complete. Then reading through existing research and summarizing key findings through data extraction, which would then, we're planning on turning into a literature review. I also helped with organizing some data in Excel about their clients and dropout rates and what kind of services they have provided and what results they've seen from that. And finally, discussing the efforts of this lab with other members of the lab, talking about our progress, our goals, and all that sort of stuff. So I really appreciated how they made me feel like a member of the team rather than just an intern or research assistant there to do grunt work, or just there, to feel like I was doing something meaningful. They really cared what I had to say and knew that I had a unique perspective, as a student and as a psychology student with other research experience, so they really valued my input, which I really appreciated. So this internship has definitely influenced my career goals by teaching me that research can and should be practiced in many different contexts, and I think it's really lacking in a lot of contexts, and this can include mental health treatment, public policy, education practices. And, I think whatever role you're in, whether you're operating a business or you're a teacher, you can always look at, what am I doing for my clients, my students, my, whoever it may be. And you can look at, is what you're doing actually effective? What does the research say? And what could you potentially do differently? And then can you examine the effectiveness of that change in practice? So ultimately, I hope to obtain a PhD in either criminology or criminal justice in order to conduct research that can then inform policy decisions. And so it was really inspiring to see at this internship how research is informing their decisions for how they will provide treatment in this lab and how they will best advocate for and help out their clients. So it was a really great experience, and I actually might continue working there next semester. I'm going to continue completing remote work for them this summer, and we'll see what happens from there. But I'm really thankful for the opportunity. I had a great time, and if you have the chance to work with this organization, I would definitely recommend it.